The passengers thought it was going to be just another ordinary journey. The bus was full of people from all walks of life, students heading home, workers returning after a long day, and families chatting quietly as the city rolled by. Among them sat a girl who seemed no different from the rest. She wore simple clothes, carried a small bag, and kept to herself. Nobody paid her much attention, and she liked it that way. To everyone, she was just another traveler blending into the crowd. But what they didn't know was that she carried a secret that could change everything. The ride was peaceful until the air shifted. A few men boarded the bus at the next stop, their eyes darting sharply across the passengers. Something about their movements felt off, though most people were too distracted to notice. Whispers began. Nervous glances were exchanged, and slowly the mood inside turned heavy. It was as if an invisible cloud of fear had entered with them. That simple girl, the one nobody noticed, saw it all. Her calm eyes picked up every detail: how their hands trembled slightly, how they tried to hide something under their jackets. She knew danger when she saw it. The passengers felt uneasy, but no one dared to act. Fear silenced the crowd. Yet, behind her quiet expression, the girl's mind was racing. She wasn't who they thought she was. Years of secret training had prepared her for moments exactly like this. Though never had she imagined it would happen here, in the middle of an ordinary bus ride. She had to make a choice: stay hidden and safe like everyone else, or reveal a side of herself no one could ever guess. As the bus moved deeper into the night, the tension grew heavier. The men exchanged signals, preparing for something terrible. The passengers sat frozen, unaware of how close danger was. But one person was ready to face it all, and she wasn't going to let innocent lives slip away. What happened next would shock everyone on that bus, because the girl they ignored was not so simple after all. The girl's name was Aisha, though no one on that bus knew it. To the world, she appeared like any ordinary young woman who lived a simple life, but behind that quiet face was a story few could ever imagine. She had grown up in a small town where she learned to blend in, to move silently, and to never reveal more than what was necessary. It was this very skill that had caught the attention of people in higher places years ago. Her natural courage, discipline, and sharp instincts had led her into a life of secret service, but undercover work demanded sacrifice. She had left behind friends, family, and even the comfort of being herself. Now, in this very moment, all that training whispered inside her mind. The men on the bus didn't look like ordinary passengers. Their eyes scanned the exits, their movements too coordinated to be random. She noticed the way one of them kept glancing at the driver, while another shifted nervously in his seat, guarding a small black bag on his lap. Aisha's pulse quickened, not from fear for herself, but for the innocent lives trapped in that confined space around her. People were restless. A mother clutched her child tighter. A young man glanced at his phone, as if searching for a signal, and the driver's hands trembled slightly on the wheel. No one dared to question the strangers. No one wanted to make the first move. But Aisha knew that hesitation could cost lives. She adjusted her seat, pretending to look out the window, but in reality, she was observing every detail. Timing was everything. One wrong step, and the entire bus could be thrown into chaos. She couldn't reveal who she was yet, not until the right moment. And as the bus rolled into a darker stretch of road, she realized that moment was coming faster than anyone could imagine. Aisha's mind raced as the bus rumbled through the winding road. She had learned long ago that danger often hid behind ordinary faces, and these men were the perfect example. To everyone else, they seemed calm, almost casual, but her instincts screamed otherwise. Every subtle movement, every glance, told her they were planning something far more serious than a simple robbery. She thought back to her training, to the countless drills where she had prepared for moments like this. situations that required split-second decisions, strategies to protect lives without anyone realizing a thing. She had been taught to blend in, to watch, to wait, and then act when the moment was absolutely right. On the surface, she was just a simple girl, someone the world would underestimate, but inside, she carried the skills of someone who had faced threats most people couldn't even imagine. Around her, the bus hummed with nervous energy. A student fidgeted with his headphones, a grandmother muttered prayers under her breath, and the driver's eyes flicked nervously to the rearview mirror. Aisha noticed how the strangers kept checking their watches and whispering in low tones. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife, yet nobody seemed aware of the ticking danger that hovered over them. She glanced at the black bag one of the men clutched so tightly, her heart sank slightly. She knew from experience that it wasn't just belongings inside, but she couldn't react too soon. Too many lives depended on patience, on timing, on precision. Every second counted, and even a small mistake could turn this ordinary bus ride into a disaster. Aisha's eyes scanned the other passengers, silently committing their faces to memory. She would protect them no matter what it took, but she also knew the world could never see her as a hero. To them, she would remain the quiet, simple girl they barely noticed. Yet in the shadows of that bus, something was about to ignite, and Aisha's hidden strength was the only thing standing. Between safety and chaos, the bus turned sharply onto a narrow, dimly lit road, the streetlights flickering like warning signals. Aisha felt a cold edge of anticipation settle over her. Every instinct was screaming that the moment was near. The strangers exchanged subtle signals, their eyes scanning the passengers with a precision that made her stomach tighten. She knew that whatever they were planning, it was about to happen, and fast. She adjusted her posture, keeping her hands casually on her lap while her mind mapped out every possible scenario. The driver's knuckles whitened on the steering wheel, and a nervous cough broke the uneasy silence in the back of the bus. Aisha's gaze swept the entire cabin, noting the fear, confusion, and helplessness that clung to each passenger. They were trapped, but she couldn't let panic take over. Calmness, she reminded herself, was her greatest weapon. The man with the black bag shifted again, glancing at the rear door as if measuring how quickly it could be opened. Aisha's pulse quickened. She recognized the signs. People like him had trained for this, rehearsed for chaos, and were counting on hesitation from everyone else. No one knew what they were capable of, and the passengers were oblivious too. How close they were to danger. She took a slow, deliberate breath and assessed her surroundings. Every exit, every seat, every possible obstacle was catalogued in her mind. The bus was a small arena, and time was running out. Even a single wrong move could set off a chain reaction. The strangers' whispers became sharper, more urgent, and their glances now darted toward the driver with unmistakable intent. Aisha's fingers itched to act, but she waited. She had learned that in moments like this, patience could be just as powerful as action. The air was thick with tension. Every second felt like a heartbeat, every movement magnified in the confined space. The passengers remained unaware, frozen in fear, while Aisha prepared for the point of no return, the moment where her hidden identity and training would be the only shield between innocent lives and a disaster waiting to strike. Just as Aisha was calculating her next move, a sudden vibration shook the bus, making everyone jolt in their seats. The driver cursed under his breath, and a few passengers gasped. At first, it seemed like a pothole or a sudden swerve, but Aisha's trained eyes spotted something far more sinister. A second vehicle had pulled up alongside the bus, moving in perfect sync. Her heart skipped a beat. The men with the black bag weren't acting alone. Through the tinted windows, she caught glimpses of another set of figures leaning out, scanning the bus with intent. The situation had escalated far beyond what she had anticipated. This wasn't just a small, contained threat anymore. It had grown into something bigger, more coordinated, and far more dangerous. Her mind raced, connecting dots too fast for anyone else to notice. The stakes had just multiplied. And now, innocent lives were in even greater jeopardy. The passengers sensed something was wrong, but couldn't pinpoint it. Nervous whispers filled the air, and some clutched their belongings tightly. Haas. Eyes darted between the first group and the new threat outside. Noting every detail, their posture, the way they moved, the silent signals they exchanged. Everything screamed that a carefully planned attack was about to unfold. She realized that hesitation could now cost even more lives. Her mind weighed every option, but acting too soon could trigger chaos. She knew she had to outthink both groups, and quickly. The bus felt smaller, the tension thicker, and the danger more immediate than ever. Aisha's calm exterior masked the storm inside her as she mentally prepared for a confrontation that no one on that bus would see coming. Every second dragged. The engines hum, now a countdown. The passengers frozen in unaware panic. Sue's hidden skills, the very ones nobody suspected, were the only barrier between survival and disaster. And as the second group drew closer, their intentions unmistakable, she understood that what was about to happen